we go. They said, Monique, we want to play a game of Would You Rather. Let's go. Would you rather your husband sleep with Lee Daniels with a condom or Corinne Steffens without one?
This is a what are you doing for me right now kind of industry. I'm not about to give you millions of dollars based off an old resume. Yes, we understand Monique is Monique. Amy Schumer, I don't find her funny at all. Okay, she's got me blocked on Twitter right now because I've said things like that. All right? But you foolish people have to understand funny has nothing to do with it. Amy sold out a worldwide tour in 2016, a #1 movie with Trainwreck, a New York Times best-selling book, and she had a special on HBO. So I'm sure HBO tried to get her new special as well. So it creates yet another bidding war on top of the sold-out shows around the world, on top of the movies and books and the brand of Amy Schumer, and, you know, Amy being white hot right now. That's why they get these high numbers. Yes, Monique is Monique. We understand she's a legend, but you're not just negotiating based off your old resume. You're based off your current market value. Play this one part.
I am the most decorated comedian alive.
Monique, if you said that in the Netflix offices, I'm shocked the executives didn't die of laughter. Okay? Most decorated comedian alive. I just simply wish Sway would have asked her how. Why do you feel that way, Monique? What are the decorations for a comedian? I would think it's ticket sales, right? So somebody will tell you your value, and it will probably be less than your worth. I totally agree with that. So if Monique feels Netflix lowballed her, cool. Simply take your talent somewhere else and prove them wrong by getting what you feel you're worth. But when you go other places and they offer you close to the same amount, are you going to accuse everyone of race and gender bias? Look, we all know that racial bias and gender bias exists. We all know that the wage gap between men and women is real, but this isn't one of those times. This is simply a matter of who's hot, who's not. Market value isn't just based on what you did, it's based on what you did lately, and more importantly, based on what you're doing right now. Please give Monique the sweet sounds of the hammer tones, please.
Oh, now you are the donkey of the day. Ooh, you are the dog.
The breakfast nubs called me the donkey of the day. And they had a whole call-in. But you didn't do the same thing when you found out we settled. Now all of a sudden, don't nobody know what a settlement is.
Yo, what it is, people, we is back. Another day on Keep It G News. And they all we talking about Monique, Shay Club, Shay interview. You know, she had a lot to say on it. And whatever I told y'all before when you dealing with somebody from Baltimore, you know, a true Baltimorean, you ain't gonna change. You know, you ain't gonna manipulate. You ain't gonna keep quiet. That's just what it is. Some people hate it. Some people love it. But it's authentic. And it's still a segment of society that respects real. Regardless of what you're seeing on the internet. People still respect real. Long as it's authentic. Something they can feel. Something that's tangible. You know, because right now you see what we're dealing with in the world. Everybody think they got their own truth. But in reality, it's only one truth. And the truth can't be debated. So Monique was on Club Shay and she had a whole lot to say. D. Hughley came to mind when you think about that interview. As well as Charlamange, Breakfast Club. You know what I mean? That's why I played them clips for y'all in the beginning, yo, because I disagree with Charlamange. And I don't like that question that she was asked. And I remember all of this happened in real time. You know, that's the thing about the internet. It'd be so much going on, people forget. But I didn't forget these. I remember Monique brought up that instance on the radio that she had with Daryl Hughley Peoples. It was out of order, out of line. What kind of question is that? You don't ask no woman that. And then you interviewing her. Why y'all asking about her husband? And what type of, I mean, like, come on, what are you trying to insinuate? She never got into detail about when she called DL. That's something new. So in this video, DL Hughley had something to say about that. Then you also heard in the beginning, Charlamagne and giving a donkey of the day. You heard Monique reply about that. Well, she had some more to say regarding Charlamagne and that whole donkey of the day issue. But before I continue, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. And I want y'all to listen to what DL Hughley had to say toward Monique's comments.
Club Shay is getting messier and messier. It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere. She just got a weight set. So Monique was on. Every time I see Monique these days, she's on doing some greasy video with her and her daddy complaining about something or working out. I don't know nobody that work out that much and gain weight unless every crunch you do has got Captain in front of it. But apparently she goes on Club Shay Shay and tells the story about how she came on my radio show and I wasn't there at the time. And my co-host Jasmine Sanders played a game that we played all the time with everybody called Would You Rather. She apparently was so offended by that she says she got off. She called me. Monique did, and she said I was very dismissive, like, Monique's a liar. When Monique did call me, I heard her complaints. I listened to her and I pulled the segment. So if I had been as dismissive as she alleges I was, that segment would have aired. It didn't because I respected her wishes. She's a liar. It's also befuddles the shit out of me how somebody who as a comedian talks as much shit about everybody else as she does, she has the temerity to be offended about anything as much shit as you say about people. Then she encouraged everybody, allegedly it stems from the fact that I used to always talk about her on video after video, and she encouraged her sweet babies to look at the video and find them. Do that. Do exactly what she says. And you know what you're not going to find? You're not going to find any evidence of that because Monique is a liar. She's lying about that. But what you will find is Monique talking about some alleged contract dispute we had. Look at the ticket. It says D.L. Hughley, then Monique. She knows the story. But what she did in response to that, she talked about my dog, my wife. This broad even brought out my daughter's personal trauma. My daughter was molested and Monique brought that shit out and told the world that I allowed my daughter to be raped in front of me. The lying mother knows she was lying. And it only stopped when everybody from my family checked her. It's interesting. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? You won't ever see her with her family, videos with her children or grandchildren, because nobody with me. How do you have sweet babies when your own babies don't with you? How do you love us for real when there's no evidence of anybody loving you for real, except your daddy, who you apparently have to pay? And FYI, daughters are paid for by daddies, not daddies who get paid by their daughters. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? Telling jokes. Monique, if she'd have spent as much time actually writing jokes and writing her Netflix special as she did complaining about not having one, it wouldn't have been trash. It got the worst reviews of any Netflix special in history. Because that's what Monique does. She complains and she has grievances. You never see her being a human being. You never see her being sweet. That nobody with you, not even your family. How do you, I was on the road getting it. I get it every goddamn week. Look at my schedule versus yours. See how much I'm going. And I still manage to have a relationship that I cherish with my children. Can you say the same? You can't. Because all you do is talk about your grievances and who did you wrong. There's a reason you're by yourself. There's a reason you got to pay a man to love you. It's sad. There's an old adage that says you can't buy love. It's a shame, Monique, that you probably always will have to.
Now, when I watched that Club Shay Shay interview, I'm sure most people saying it by now, I felt exactly how Monique felt when Cat Williams excluded D.L. Hughley. I'm like, why exclude him? He part of the problem too. That's what I said to myself. I've told people in my personal life that D.L. Hughley is not one of them guys you can trust. Just pay attention, y'all, and I say this all the time. Pay attention to when these guys speak and what they speak about. It's very important. D.L. Hughley is one of them guys, whenever you see a black person, get too outspoken, he the guy that's going to come back and speak against him. Pay attention to him. And Monique said he's part of that go along, get along gang that Cat Williams spoke about, with Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer, and I believe it. But it was some misconceptions, things got misconstrued on this. You know how when time passed, people got different recollections of what happened. So D.L. Hughley said, hold up, Monique, that's not what happened. You called me and I got it right immediately. But Monique heard that and she almost, for the most part, standing on what she said, except for one key difference.
D.L. Hughley. And we are firm believers on what is right and what is wrong. Yes. So we got to start off by saying there was an inaccuracy as it regards Monique saying that there was a cease and desist that was given to DL to shut it down. Mm-hmm. What had taken place, to be accurate, was after Monique spoke to Brother DL on that conversation, Brother DL said, what?
Well, after we spoke on that conversation, when we hung up that phone, the last thing he said was, "It is what it is." And I said, "DL, then we're going to have to get our attorney involved." That's the last thing me and DL Hughley said on that conversation.
And after having that conversation with Monique, we went and got an attorney involved, Attorney Anderson. At the time, there were some emails that were transferred back and forth between his side and our side, and it escalated to a point when we had our attorney on the email, whereby then finally DL said that he would scratch the interview.
Yes.
So it was inaccurate that a cease and desist had to be given. However, that was the next step, and that's what Monique remembered, because when I discussed it with her, we said that would be the next step. But to DL's credit, at that moment, when it had escalated, that's when he decided to shut it down. However, that is a bit different from how it seemed to have been communicated, whereby on the phone, they were having a conversation and it was kumbaya. Though he never used those words, kumbaya, it did not end. I'll turn with her being under the impression that this was going to be resolved and shut down. So we wanted to make that clear out of love and respect for Brother DL. And despite all the commentary that he gave, with all the crunches she be doing, the captain's in the front.
I do.
And
I do.
tell him.
I'm a sneak snacker, baby.
And she doesn't sneak when she snacks.
Okay. Hey.
But nonetheless, we wanted to be clear, because at the end of the day, we black folks in this world of entertainment. And there was a level of harshness in his return that seemed a little bit exaggerated for the moment. And we wanted to make it clear. And
You know, when I watched DL say, she went after my wife, she went after my daughters, I want to really be clear who I went after so that there's no confusion here. When I was on stage, when I'm on stage and we are performers, we are performing to the audience in front of us. When I was on that stage and I said it must be hard to perform oral sex,
but differently.
okay, on a coward, that had nothing to do with Mrs. Hughley. That insult was directed straight to you, DL. That had nothing to do with your wife. That was straight to you. So it felt like you were trying to pass it off as if I was going after your wife. When it comes to your daughter, to the baby that you did a post about, you did an interview about, I didn't do that interview. I simply reposted what you said. So when you say, Monique, you went after my daughter, that's untrue, DL. I posted what you said. And then when you said when you were really going for it with your shades on, and you said, Monique said, I stood by and watched my daughter be raped. DL Hughley, that's your conscience talking to you, brother. I never said that. I never said that. And I want to be a little clear about something else. Never would I try to do anything to harm any of your babies, because we got babies too. So never would I try to do anything to harm your children. However, what I was saying to your daughter and to the other daughters out there, I know what it's like for your daddy to know you've been touched and he not protect you, because my daddy did the same thing. That's what that whole point was. But I was showing why I would call you a coward, brother. I don't think it's brave that you didn't protect your baby. So when I said what I was saying, let me be clear to you, DL Hughley, it had nothing to do in reference to your family, and you know that. Now, when you were speaking and you were going off and you said, what did you say? She was so offended by the game we play. But you didn't say what the offense was. And that's the part for me that is disheartening, that you continue to try to trick and smoke and mirror our people. If you're going to say it all the way through. When you say family is sacred, you are absolutely right, baby. You're right. But when you say would my husband rather, and you co-sign your team of people doing that, well, isn't my husband sacred?
If we come together, we're going to win just by default. So at the end of the day, when you get to talking about how Monique is not loved and this, that, and the other, that's your perception. But what I'll say is it is due to the love that we have that we're able to love those that say things that could be construed as hurtful, but we understand that the old saying of hurt people. So we don't take what you say personally, brother. And again, it's nothing but love. In addition to the fact, I'm Q-Sci-Fi. Just like you, except I've been in about 29 going on 30 years. I'm not going to argue with you, frat. Ain't nothing but love. So we wanted to extend that to you and let you know what it is. And again, if you ever want to speak, let's have a real conversation.
I still believe Monique. The whole story, everything she said. And D.L. Hughley never refuted that. Only thing he refuted is, no, I ended it right away. No, I don't believe that. I'm going to rock with my sister from Baltimore till the wheels fall off. I believe it was a little bit of struggle. He didn't want to scrape the interview because most people don't, you know. He said that's the game they play. He didn't think it was out of line. He thought it was all fair. But in my opinion, I think it was out of line. I agree with Monique on this. And though she may have, you know, sometimes when you, I said in the beginning, when you thinking about an issue and you trying to recollect, sometimes it might get mixed up. And she thought, I don't think it was intentional, but she thought she did have to get the lawyers involved, but come to find out she didn't. Once she threatened him with lawyers, that's when he scratched it. But he didn't do it off good faith like he's supposed to do. Once Monique voiced her disapproval of that question to D.L. Hughley, he supposed to scrape the interview off the rip. If that's somebody you care about, you say y'all friends, you looked at her as a sister at one point. So people got to understand that money is not the end all be all. You know, friendships, relationships is more important than money. A lot of times who you know it take you a lot further than what you got in your pocket. Debate it with somebody else. But Monique also spoke about Charlamange and Breakfast Club. You know, Charlamange did end up apologizing. But I want y'all to listen to what Monique said when it comes down to Jess Hilarious, another Baltimorean in the Breakfast Club.
She's a beautiful asset sitting in that seat. And she's going to bring something very special to that show. And I know the community is agreeing with what I'm saying right now, because what that sister did when she sat in that seat, she was able to get y'all to see something and understand something that nobody could get you to see for years. For years. And just that baby sitting there with nothing but honesty. And said, no, we got to deal with this, y'all. We got to deal with this, y'all. You don't understand what that baby's bringing to that show. Because what she's not going to be bringing is, let's knock down, drag them out. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And because you babies owned it and you apologize.
We love you. And we loved you then. Not mad. And want y'all to win.
That's all.
Before I get to Jess Hilarious, I'm going to say this. So before I get to Jess Hilarious, yeah, Charlamagne apologize, yo, but I'm of the mindset, yo, is when you say things like that, you know exactly what you doing. Charlamagne knows how loud his voice is in the community, and he knew what he was doing back then. So don't apologize now. Don't apologize now. And I did a video on this, and I couldn't find it. That's why I hate deleting videos. I want to know, did I say this back then? Because I'm sure I did. Because I didn't like what was going on with Monique back then. At all. You feel me? Because Monique is real, authentic, and the truth got to be told one way or another. And I'm not of the mindset, and that's not how I was raised, to bite my tongue. Monique, you see, she was raised the same way. Basically, what Charlamagne was saying that Monique should do is be quiet, wait your turn, go somewhere else. But no, play fair now. Why I got to take my business elsewhere when you can play fair now? You playing fair with everybody else. Why you want to undercut me? Why you want to lowball me? No, that's not right. I'm going to put it out there so it don't happen again. That's what we got to do as a community. You got to nip things in the bud before it get too far. To be honest, I think that's a major problem in our community. We wait too long when we see something wrong. By the time a black person speak up, it's so many years down the line, you can't even put the brakes on whatever was going on because we done missed our opportunity. So I believe you do say something right away. And I also think that Just Hilarious, as long as she don't get consumed, because I ain't like one of her posts that she posted the other day. She had, it was a little bit democratic, and it was, political. But as long as she stay grounded, and I think she will, for the most part. Like I said, I ain't like that post, but I think she will. She from Baltimore. She know where she from. She know what she been through. And it's going to be hard to change that. Long as Just Hilarious stay rooted in integrity, honor, dignity, I think she's going to be straight. And I think she is going to bring a new dynamic to the Breakfast Club. But I want to know how y'all feel about this in the comments. Do y'all believe Monique and D.L. or D.L. Hughley? Did Monique lie intentionally? Was it intentional that she said that the lawyers had to get involved? Kind of made D.L. look crazy. And I also remember that joke that D.L. Hughley did say. It wasn't a joke. The interview where he talked about the situation with his daughter. Monique didn't bring that to the world. That's the thing, people like to play on other people's memory, Cause like I said, the society we living in, things happen fast, so your mind can only hold but so much memory, so many thoughts, and people like to play on that. But I remember that interview. I remember D.L. Hughley talking about the situation with his daughter. Now, he may have got it scraped off the internet, so you might not be able to find it. But don't try to use that to make it seem like this woman was lying, because I do remember him bringing that to the world. And that is cowardly. That is cowardly. I thought it was cowardly back then. And Monique should have spoke on that. You understand what I'm saying? But I want to know how y'all feel about this in the comments. Who y'all side with? Did Monique embellish on Club Shay Shay? Did D.L. Hughley flat out lie? And what dynamic do people think Just Hilarious is going to bring to the Breakfast Club? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Become a member of the channel.
Nigga can't do what I do. Y'all niggas can't copy me. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep the shit G. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep shit G.